What do you need to convince us? What do we need to convince us? Don't you see what's happening in the Muslim Ummah? Are we blind to the reality of what is going on around us? Do you not notice that the majority of affairs that are occurring deal with us? Look at the news. 80% of the news deals with our Ummah and what is happening to it. Has it ever occurred to us? Why? Why? Are we not believers of Allah? Are we not worshippers of Allah? Or are we? Or are we really and truly believers and worshippers of Allah? Allah says in the Quran that izzah, honor and glory and power will always belong to Allah and to His Messenger and to the believers, the mu'minun. Therefore, it is not possible that the real mu'minun will ever be humiliated. It is not possible, my dear brothers and sisters, that permanently the situation will always be in our disfavor. Therefore, there is something wrong. We are not doing our job. We are not reaching the level of iman that is required of us. And that is why we have not reached the level of izzah and honor and glory that is promised to us as well. How can we ask Allah to do His part of the contract when we don't do our part? How can we ask Allah for help when we don't deserve that help? Do we not realize that this is a wake-up call for us? What is happening in the Muslim Ummah, Allah is doing it for our sake. Allah says in the Quran, مَا يَفْعَلُ اللَّهُ بِعَذَابِكُمْ إِن شَكَرْتُمْ وَآمَنْتُمْ. What will Allah gain? What will Allah gain by punishing you? If you believe and are thankful to Him. If, this is the if. What will Allah gain? But if you are thankful and have iman. In other words, if you don't have iman or you are not thankful, then Allah Azza wa Jal must show you the reality. My dear brothers and sisters, we simply don't have the luxury of living a carefree life. In fact, we never have such a luxury, no matter what the ummah is going through. But especially now, especially at this time, we simply can't be selfish. We can't think of my dunya, my money, my wealth. No, we must think of the ummah. Each and every one of us is responsible to do what we can for the ummah. It is my duty and your duty to be better Muslims, and that is the best way to revive the izzah that this ummah needs. That is the best way to get to the position that Allah has promised us. O Muslims, ponder over this reality. Reflect over it. For the sake of your family and friends, for the sake of this Muslim ummah, for the sake of your dunya and akhirah, for the sake of your jannah and nar, for the sake of Allah Azza wa Jal, each and every one of us has to change. Each and every one of us must set goals to better himself. Now, not tomorrow. At this point in time, because there is no tomorrow.
يا نفس إن لم تظفري لا تجزعي.
All the praise is for Allah, who is the author of all existence and the most generous to His creation, while He is also the all-compelling. He is the only one worthy of our worship, having no partners, no associates, no sons, no daughters, no one whom He must consult, and no one or anything which has any comparison with Him. Praise is for Allah, who is the author of all existence and the most generous to his creation, while he is also the all-compelling. He is the only one worthy of our worship, having no partners, no associates, no sons, no daughters, no one whom he must consult, and no one or anything which has any comparison with him. All the praise is for Allah, who is the King of all who claim sovereignty, the only one who has the right to legislate for his creatures. He is the giver of life. He is the causer of death, while death has no effect upon him, because he is the ever-living, the self-subsisting, the eternal and the only absolute. All the praise is for Allah, who has power over all things, and there is in reality no power and no strength, no influence to cause benefit or detriment except through him. It is he who created this complex world, the seen and the unseen, the evident and the speculative, the earth and all that is on it and everything that is in it. It is he who sent his messengers and prophets, alayhimus salam, with the common message of strict monotheism, which simply means that there's absolutely no one worthy of worship, no one worthy of our obedience except the Almighty, the One, the Absolute, and who has no partners.
The earlier messages, which changed the world in the area in which the prophets were sent, those messages we know have changed, and even the prophets who brought them, their names are now lost. We just know in general because Allah told us in the Quran, وَلَقَدْ بَعَثْنَا فِي كُلِّ أُمَّةٍ رَسُولًا أَنْ يَعْبُدُوا اللَّهَ وَاجْتَنِبُوا الطَّاغُوتَ. I've sent to every nation a messenger, calling people